on a second. Hold on. I'll explain why in a minute. Froggy, what's going on, buddy? We'll see you later, pal. There's a giant frog pillow in that window. When I was working at the Artist and Craftsman Supply, they're closing, by the way. I used to drive by this every day. And one day I was really down, and he was there. He was there. It just made me smile, so I named him Froggy. And every time I drive by, I have to say hi. In fact, it got to the point where the kids asked me, "Hey, did you see Froggy today?" Hey, what's up, everybody? Don't mind me. I'm just waking up making my breakfast. Just real quick. This video you're about to watch, I recorded, God, I think I said the day before St. Patrick's Day, so it's a little late, and the reason for that is I wasn't sure if I wanted to put this out there. But I'm going to do it anyway, because I felt it in the moment. I felt it was a little selfish, but I was let down by the whole school experience by the end of it. I was so excited going into it. I thought it was going to be one thing. It turned out not to be another. Still grateful for the experience, and I'm glad. I mean, I'm going to talk to Raytheon tomorrow, of all companies, through them. So I could be making some big money starting tomorrow, for all I know. But regardless, take it with a grain of salt, and let me know if you've experienced any kind of like a trade school thing like this. Equals mine. It just felt like there was a lot of things that were supposed to happen that didn't. And then when all was said and done, it was just kind of like, okay, bye. You know? I don't know. Alright, here's the video. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Let me apologize for not being around much. March is typically a busy month for me. On top of that, today's discussion, school. And how that went. It is technically done for me. We have until the 28th, but I have completed all of my requirements. But today I want to talk about the actual experience of school. And I'm not sure if my point of view is coming from a selfish point of view, because typically I'm not a selfish kind of guy. I'm a very open-hearted, I'm very big-hearted. Even my lady says I give too much of myself here and there. Whatever. Though I am extremely grateful for the opportunity that I have had to better myself, and it has come to a conclusion that is favorable. I'm grateful that I got the schooling, and I hope I do well in my chosen now field of work. Soldering things. But I feel a lot, I was going to say a little, but a lot let down by the experience. March is already above a month for me as it is, so maybe that's contributing. Today is St. Patrick's Day, Sarnachi, and yesterday was the anniversary of my father's passing. He's been gone 19 years now. It's crazy to think. 19 years without my old man, but such is life. I was also married in March. I'm no longer married to that woman. I got a couple of kids whose birthdays that are my own that are in March, and we don't have the greatest relationship. So, I mean, keep working on these things, but, you know, they can only you know, do their thing in their own time. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, then, you know, it's up to the Almighty. You know, it's really up to Him, and I gotta trust in His decisions. But maybe I just have a false idea how things should be. You know, I signed up knowing that we were going to have like field trips to companies and that all kinds of other stuff were going to happen. And none of it did. You know, none of it did. And now that I'm done and I can sit down and breathe and reflect on all the stress and all of the fear and all of the crying and all of the... I don't feel like I learned anything. I don't feel like I learned a goddamn thing. I feel like I was pushed, as well as others, pushed to the finish line to fill a number quota. When I first got there, and don't get me wrong, everyone there was wicked nice. Everyone there is still wicked nice. And they're all helpful. If you go back to when I first announced this, I was talking about, I'm going to learn this, I'm going to learn this, and I'm going to learn that. I didn't learn any of it. I learned how to find answers in the book. we didn't really go over, even when we were in class. Thankfully for me, we spent most of the time in the lab because that's where I excel. You put a book in front of me and I'm a garbage person. You put an object in front of me to figure out, repair, or whatever. More times than not I can figure out. Sometimes I'll muck it up, but realistically, I am better with the physical objects, as are a lot of people. People are doers and not learners, you know? Show me, don't tell me. And then have me do it, and then critique it, and then we'll move on from there. That's my style. But we didn't learn anything when we were in class. She did kind of read some of it here and there, but after a couple of days of that, she's like, you know what? Let's just go to the review questions, and you guys gotta just look up the answer in that module. And that's literally what it was, learning how to find the answer for the end tests. It wasn't learning what it wasn't studying what it was, which thank God, because the books weren't designed like that. The books weren't designed like that even a little bit. So we take the tests, and I eventually did pass all of them. Like the first book, which is the A610 certification, that was 7 modules worth of tests. And if you recall, I did fail one of them. I don't know if I talked about that yet, but I did. I failed one. And I had almost a complete mental breakdown because like, I went through all this crap. And one test is gonna, you know, and you had one more chance. And thank God I got through it. Finished all the tests, and, you know, that was good. Same day I finished that one, I went and did my actual soldering test. They gave you a big blank board and a bunch of parts and said, here, do this proper. Come back and show it to us. You either do good or you don't do good. And I've been soldering, say, 2/3 of my life. 2/3 of my life. So I was fairly confident in that, and I did well. They asked you a few questions as far as inspection. I thought it was going to be an actual, like they were going to hand me something, but no. The guy, while looking at my test, the one I did, said, if you snip a lead after applying solder, what then? I was like, well, yeah, you could have broke the solder joint, so you reflow the solder or touch it up if you need to. He's like, good. And that was it. That was my inspecting exam. Then we took the one for the J standard, which I failed the 3rd one, but I banged out the rest of them. Those were tough. Everyone was like, oh my God, that was so hard. I really started to panic. And I couldn't go in for a couple of days because the person who loads the test wasn't going to be there. And I needed to get that one last one done. And then Friday, I went in there, and when I went to go hit that button to see what my score was, I paused. I've never been this fearful over something as stupid as a test in my entire life, because this literally was the end. Clicked on it, 80 out of 100, you need a 70 to pass. I just sat there for a minute and just breathed a sigh of relief, choked up a little bit. The teacher came over, she goes, how'd you do? And I said, I passed it. She goes, good job, now just get me the certificate in the mail and you're all done. I'm like, cool. So I did all that. I hung out with a few people to help them with their tests. That was allowed. And then I went to the instructor and said, okay, so now what? She goes, you're done. Congratulations. You don't have to come back. And that's it. It was just left at that. And after all the things that, and I understand things change, and that's fine. I don't know if maybe I was just expecting a little bit more celebratory, you know? And even when I mentioned it online, people were just like, hey, congrats, I knew you could do it, whatever. Here at home, it's the same, just, you know, congrats. And maybe it's because I just saw too much TV or something. I don't know. I expected it to be more celebration this past weekend. On top of that, I just turned 50 a couple of days before that, right? And everything's just been so minimal. And I when it comes to like birthdays, Valentine's Day, Christmas, I never ask for much. I really don't. You know, give me a card. Just recognize me. Please let me know that you know I'm here. And that's pretty much what I get. And that's fine. It is what it is, right? There were many years I didn't get shit for anything. Birthdays, Christmas, you know. And I don't know. I just expected more of a celebration, maybe even like a gift. You know, I know if my parents were alive, I would have at least gotten a card with a couple $100 in it or something, you know? And then on top of that, I had this Masters of the Universe pile I was selling for $100. And this guy messages me and he's like, I want it, but I won't be back in town until Sunday. I'm like, all right, no problem at all, man. Just when you're back in town, let me know. Even if you change your mind, please just let me know. No problem. Of course, as usual, people are dickheads. I can't stand people. If you're going to change your mind, just at least say it. Don't be a puss, you know? And I think that's what it's about. People are so afraid, I guess, of someone getting mad at them for it. I literally said, I just want to know, so I'm not hanging on. I haven't heard from the guy. So on top of that, I thought I was going to be able to celebrate myself. You know, I had this $100 that was going to be coming in. I was going to go get a couple of rats for the snake. I was going to go to the dispensary. And then I was going to do something nice for me, you know. Congratulations, Chris. This is the biggest thing you've ever done. Now, mind you, it's just a trade school. I get it. And it was only an 11-week program. But for me to go into a classroom again and actually succeed is a big deal to me. I didn't think it was going to be possible. I really didn't, especially after my first experience going into that machinist school. Between the funding and the money's becoming weird, and them saying that you really need to go take some math courses if you're going to do this stuff, because it was a little bit more advanced than your basic math, you know? And they weren't wrong. I suck at math. I'm garbage with numbers. Always have been. I don't know. It was because this was just such a big deal. And there were certain people in my world that aren't here anymore to help me celebrate. I really wish they were. And I know people are telling me, you know, they're looking down on you, they're proud. It's like, that's not what I believe. Thank you. I believe we stay in the deep sleep until the second coming, you know? Until he returns to bring us home. That whole deal. I don't know. I'm fucking bummed out. I'm like straight up depressed about this. And this is not a call to action for all of you folks. This is not a call to action. I'm not whining so you can reciprocate. Congratulate me for flip's sake, but I'm not looking for anything from anybody. It's a vlog channel, and I really have nowhere else and no one else to talk to. That's why I do this, you know? And that's why I allow myself to get personal with you folks. But the whole school experience was let down. The computers never worked. The teacher came in when she felt like it. Now, don't get me wrong, the organization was great. And the people there are awesome. I don't know, it just seems like, why me? Why every time I'm involved in something, it's never anything, you know what I mean? I could cure fucking cancer. I could cure cancer. And people would be like, cool. Thanks. I don't understand what it is about me. I must have done something in another life or something that really pissed off the creations and the creators of the stuffs and the people. Chris, you just got your certifications. You should be happy. Yeah, I am happy, but I don't know. I want to be celebrated for once, I guess. I don't know. I just want to be celebrated for